Rep. John Conyers DMich, 88, has been hospitalized for reported stress-related illness, per CBS Detroit. Family spokesperson Sam Riddle confirmed that Conyers is seeking treatment at a local hospital. Why it matters: several women, including 2 exstaffers, have accused the congressman of UAL harassment. Conyers has since stepped down from his role as ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee while an ethics investigation takes place. The latest accusation: Kemplin said she met Franken, then a comedian, while being stationed in the Middle East. As a fan of Saturday Night Live, Kemplin said she got in line to take a photo with him. When he put his arm around me, he groped my right breast. He kept his hand all the way over on my breast. I've never had a man put their arm around me and then cup my breast. So he was holding my breast on this side. I remember clenching up and thinking, is he going to move his hand? Was it an accident? Was he going to move his hand? He never moved his hand. It was long enough that he should have known if it was an accident. I'm very confident saying that, a Franken spokesman told CNN Wednesday night. As Sen. Franken made clear this week, he takes thousands of photos and has met tens of thousands of people, and he has never intentionally engaged in this kind of conduct. He remains committed to cooperating with the ethics investigation. Other accusers: Leanne Tweeden accused Franken of unwanted kissing and groping during a 2006 USO tour in the Middle East. Lindsay Menz alleged Franken groped her butt while taking a photo with him at the Minnesota State Fair in 2010. 2 unnamed women told the Huffington Post separately that Franken grabbed their butts. One said he groped her during a photo after an event in Minneapolis, and the other said he cupped her butt at a 2008 Democratic fundraiser before suggesting the two visit the bathroom together. "We know the machine we have built is working," said Jukka Heinonen, executive director of startups for TEEX, the Finnish government's investment arm. Reproduced from TEEX. Note: local investments includes Finnish VCs, Nasdaq First North, crowdfunding, and business angels. Government includes TEEX scaling, road grants and loans. Chart: Axios visuals. Finland has been home to a host of startups for a long time now, fueled by all of that government funding, a strong tradition of gaming, and a steady of entrepreneurs leaving Nokia. Next up, Finland wants to get more foreign entrepreneurs setting up shop within its borders and plans to introduce a startup visa next year. "We want to have more good ideas from all over the world," Heinonen said. Another step is boosting the number of students coming from other countries. Peter Vesterbacka, former Rovio executive and co-founder of Lightyear, says the goal is to get 150,000 foreign students in Finland by 2020, up from about 20,000 now. That's important because for all its tech talent, Finland is only number 18 in Europe in terms of number of developers, according to a report released today by Atomico. Anti-Muslim videos that were retweeted by President Trump include false descriptions, per an AP fact-check by Cal Woodward. One video shows a young man attacking another who is on crutches, near a riverbank. It was originally posted to a Dutch viral video site in May and picked up by Dutch media. Jada Fransen, the deputy leader of Britain First, an ultranationalist group, tweeted video: Muslim migrant beats up Dutch boy on crutches, but the victim was not attacked by a Muslim migrant. Video of a portion read speech. The text of Kong's statement: President Trump yesterday used Twitter to promote a vile, extremist group that exists solely to sow division and hatred in our country. Many Brits who love America and Americans will see this as a betrayal of the special relationship between our two countries. It beggars belief that the president of our closest ally doesn't see that his support of this extremist group actively undermines the values of tolerance and diversity that makes Britain so great. As the mayor of this great diverse city, I have previously called on Theresa May to cancel her ill-judged offer of a state visit to President Trump. After this latest incident, it is increasingly clear that any official visit at all from President Trump to Britain would not be welcomed. The Prime Minister of our country should be using any influence she and her government claim to have with the President and his administration to ask him to delete these tweets and to apologize to the British people. Imagine Trump if he signs a huge tax cut into law, which seems likely, amid soaring stocks and rising economic growth. Imagine if Roy Moore wins in Alabama, which seems likely, too. It surely won't humble Trump, or hem him in. He's like the Incredible Hulk, after the media and Mueller made him mad. We just witnessed the most unthinkable 96 hours of Trump's reign. He called for a probe of the chairman of NBC News, a boycott of CNN, global skepticism of CNN International, and a public contest to crown the king of fake news. He told friends that the Access Hollywood tape may have been doctored, and that former President Obama may have been born abroad. He retweeted conspiracy theorists. He unapologetically circulated videos aimed at demeaning an entire religion, Islam. He sent his press secretary out to argue it doesn't matter if the tapes are fake because the threat is real. Be smart. Elected Republicans, at least in public, seem fine with it all. They chuckle and say it's simply Trump being Trump. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and his staff seem fine with, or at least resigned to, this reality. No one who matters is doing anything but egging him on. Case in point, amid all of this, Sen. Orrin Hatch-Ruda calls Trump one of the best presidents I've served under. Sen. Lindsey Graham RSC. Gushed that he's never seen Trump in finer form than digging into the tax bill this week. Go deeper. Jonathan Swanson. The moment tour de force, the darkest day of Trump's presidency. Get more stories like this by signing up for our daily morning newsletter, Axios AM. But there's a potentially major catch. It might not have the power to go much farther than the West Coast if it is loaded down with a real nuclear warhead, not a dummy like the one it carried at its test launch. Our thought bubble: just the West Coast. Being able to take out LA, the Silicon Valley and Seattle, not fine. Nikki Haley, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, at the Security Council. The dictator of North Korea made a choice yesterday that brings the world closer to war. CNN. Haley: if war comes, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed. Reuters. Trump yesterday in St. Charles, Mo. These massive tax cuts will be rocket fuel. Laughter. Little rocket man. Rocket fuel for the American economy. Applause. He is a sick puppy. What the bill does significantly reduces the corporate rate while also reforming other parts of the business tax code. This means different businesses will see different degrees of change in what they actually pay in taxes, but gives businesses the opportunity to be more competitive globally. Boosts the economy, at least in the short run. How much is debatable. Makes corporations more profitable. Some of these additional profits will go to shareholders, some to balance sheets, some to workers. How much goes to each is a source of endless debate among economists. Bloomberg reported that many major companies are already saying they'll first increase dividends or buy back their own shares. Increases the federal deficit. By how much depends on how much the economy grows, but the Congressional Budget Office thinks it would grow by $1.4 trillion over 10 years. Lowers rates on pass-through income for small business owners. Incentivizes companies to bring investment and production back to the U.S. Whether it will work is a different question. Moves the U.S. to a territorial tax system for business income. Like much of the rest of the world, creates winners and losers among individual filers, but mostly winners until the rates expire in 2026. Here's details on how the cuts change over time. Repeals the Affordable Care Act's individual mandate, which will both free people who don't want insurance from paying a fine and raise premiums on middle-class people on the individual market. Moves the ACA more toward a government-funded marketplace for low-income people. What it doesn't do: force companies bringing money back from abroad to reinvest this money at home, or use it to increase jobs and wages. This means companies could easily choose not to do this. Provide tax cuts for everyone. While a majority of people in each income bracket will see a tax decrease in the short run, some will see tax increases. Most middle-class families will see a tax increase after 2025, when the individual cuts expire. Permanently reform the individual tax code. Close the carried interest loophole for most private equity, venture capital or real estate investors. Pay for itself in economic growth, according to most credible analyses. Some economists say it could come close, others say nowhere near. Address a growing economic shift towards automation, particularly in manufacturing and retail. Break the ACA. Most people will be protected from the premium increases by subsidies, although people who don't qualify for subsidies, want insurance but can no longer afford it, may be out of luck.